How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the San Jose Sharks franchise mode, episode number 16, headed into the first half of year number 5, the 2026-27 regular season. In the last one, we had an all-time draft, one of our best draft classes in recent, or maybe even overall in channel history. I'd call that like a top 3, top 5 draft, getting great help for the future. But over the offseason itself, we made a couple tweaks. We saw some growth in certain overalls, and we're ready to run it back here in our 5th season after a disappointing first round exit in year number 4. Now in episode 16, I'd say we're somewhere around the halfway point in this San Jose Sharks franchise mode series. In recent history on the channel, spoiler alert for past series, with the Minnesota Wild, I remember we won the Stanley Cup in year number 1. With the Seattle Kraken, we won, I think, our first cup in year 3 or 4? And we think we won 3 cups in the first 9 or 10 years, something along those lines. In Philly, I forget when our first Stanley Cup was, but I know we won the Stanley Cup in 2027, which would be this coming season, year number 6 in the last NHL, year number 5 in this NHL. So we're getting to the point where there's not too many excuses. We've built the team that we want, and now we have to perform. Now, the one thing that's different about this team and past teams in franchise mode series is that by year number 5, we still have no generated prospect in our forward core. It's a full team of real life players, so there's no player with crazy X factors who's generated 20 years old, 90 overall, 5-star shooting. We're dealing with a real life lineup. Actually, and there's only one generated prospect on the entire team, actually, and that's Mats Rodin, who was the 6th overall pick in 2024. Besides that, all 17 out of 18 other skaters are real life players in the NHL today. So I appreciate that there's that element of realism to it, but I also understand that it's going to be harder to compete with other teams in the NHL, but we shouldn't let that be an excuse. Head into this 5th season, we're looking for big bounce back years from players like William Eklund, from Connor Bedard, who was a bit underwhelming. We want a big sophomore season from Mats Rodin, who had a tough rookie year, and we're rolling with Lucas Dostal as our starting goaltender. After we picked him up at the trade deadline last year, he went 15-15-4 with a shutout and decent numbers through 35 appearances. He'll be backed up by Linus Ullmark, the real world Vezina favorite, I'd say, in 2022-23. He's an 84 overall at this point. And we have Larry Tongue and Tobias Bjornflor as our depth pieces. Now, headed into this season, other questions include various lineup ideas, but I think the biggest question was, do we sign our prospect that we drafted at 4th overall with Florida's first round pick? I honestly still forget which trade that pick came in, so if anyone remembers, please let me know. But we have our 4th overall pick in the system, Boris Kalinin, the Latvian locomotive, 79 overall at 18 years of age. The biggest question has been, do we sign him and play him in the AHL first pair with Aaron Kiviharju, or do we let him play in Europe for another year? I think also another question would be Eugene Riley, who we drafted at 24th overall, but the biggest one is definitely Boris Kalinin. Aside from Kalinin and Riley, we also saw other great draft picks like Ricky Brain, 2nd round pick, medium league potential for him, and also our goaltender of the future, Don Habschied, 18 years of age, 17 when drafted, 67 overall medium league goalie. We got him at 28th. And with all those X factors to boot, the future is very bright, but we really want to win right now as it's our last season to run it back with Erik Karlsson, who we're not moving. He's on full no movement clause. He's an 81 overall now, and in the last season of that massive contract that's paying him $11.5 million per season. At a 36 overall, maybe he comes back next year at like $1 million or something, but for right now, it's likely his final season with us with exact 7th D potential. That overall will continue to drop, but he's giving a +5 to Rodin at the moment. And we also have our captain, Logan Couture, who will be our 4th line centerman for the moment, making $8 million at that AHL top 6 potential. We could trade him in theory. He has a 3-team trade list, but he's actually been one of our most consistent players. Last season, he scored 24 goals, the same that he had scored the year prior, despite having 4 less minutes of ice time per night. So he's been a good piece for us. He had 50 points as a 3rd line centerman. I'm going to give him 4th line center minutes plus some special teams, and we'll see how he does as the leader of this team. Nothing really else to say about off-season moves. We had considered Tyler Toffoli in free agency, but a 34-year-old who wanted 2 years. I'd rather have a ton of cap flexibility next season with Couture and Karlsson off the books than, be tied to 35-year-old Tyler Toffoli who's been making like $5.5 million. So we made a depth pickup in Benoit Olivier Groulx from the Anaheim Ducks, 81 overall, two-way forward. forward, 91 shot blocking, 91 stick checking. Hopefully he'll be a good defensive piece for us on that fourth line in a bottom six that was pretty bad last season. And of course, we also have Cole Lind returning, who's on a 3-year, paying him $3.35 per year. Another trade deadline pickup for us. He had 14 points in 21 games since joining our team. He was a plus 10. So I think the future is bright. Go back to our old head coach as well. Probably our biggest offseason change. Swapping our head coach and our associate coach. Avery is back as our head coach. He was our head coach for the beginning of the series. Last year, we demoted him to associate to bring in Piper, the A+. Didn't work out. He's back now, Avery, as our head coach. So with all those things taken into consideration, hopefully the players who we know were good but had the off years can kind of get back to being themselves. But all that being said, let's dive into the comments and see what the assistant general managers had to say about this upcoming season. First comment coming from Super Loser, who said, "Great episode as always, Data." Thank you very much. Fantastic draft. The Latvian Locomotive, Norwegian Grinder, and Brain the Great Dane seem like channel legends in the making. And that's not even mentioning the goalie. I'd sign Kalinin and put him on the top pair in the AHL with Kiviharju. He may have only just turned 18, but at 79 overall, he's more than up to the challenge. Also, the X factors would give him better chemistry with Kiviharju, so they would both have better growth. That's a good point, because in the AHL, pretty much no line chemistry happens unless the players have X factors. The lines look good for now, but there are 3 things I'd keep a close eye on. Number 1, William Eklund. It seems like he's been underperforming for the majority of the series. If he plays poorly again at the start of the season, you may want to consider swapping him for Lucius or Drouin on the second line. Number 2, Luke Cunnin. 82 overall is a little low for the third line. We know he's performed very well before, but on paper the overall is a bit low. If the third line is struggling and has a poor plus-minus, it's probably best to trade for another third liner. No one jumped out to me on the trade block. All the contracts were too pricey, but more players should be available as the season unfolds. Absolutely. Number 3, the second pair. That's Rodin and Carlson. If the 2 offensive defensemen together are giving up too many goals, I'd swap Carlson for Pickering or Kniazev. Absolutely agree. Hopefully we got a strong rebound year. Good luck and go Sharks. Thank you, Super Loser. I agree on all 3 of those points, and we'll keep a close eye on all of them. Next comment, the usual book of goodness from Cheating Heel, who says, "Great start to the offseason with an awesome draft. Very pleased with the results." Skimming through what Cheating Heel had to say, I feel like it's a make it or break it year for some of our players like Buchnevich and Eklund. Anything under 70 points with the money they're making and the ice time we give them would be below expectations at this point. 100% agree there. Considering how none of our prospects seem to be developing properly in the AHL, I'd leave Kalinin in Europe for now. We might also want to explore getting a new AHL coach. How Tanguay hasn't developed at all since he was drafted is beyond me. Bystedt and other good prospects, like Bordelot, I remember him, also haven't improved much since we signed them. We need to see progress from our prospects, or the coaching staff on our farm team has to go. Concerning Larry Tanguay, although he's not progressing in the AHL, I'd still prefer to have him playing first-line minutes in the AHL than be a healthy scratch in the NHL, so we'll see what happens in the preseason for him. If we do keep him, he should probably play over Gregor on the fourth line. If for some reason we're trending to miss the playoffs around the mid-season mark, I think it would make sense to trade Couture and Carlson for picks or prospects. Absolutely. They'll likely want to waive their no movement, no trades to try and get a shot at the cup. Makes total sense. Let's hope that bringing our old coach back is enough to turn things around and that our goalies can actually get the job done. I still believe that this team can do great things, but some of the players earning big bucks really need to step up and pull their weight. Also in the lineup, we might want to consider moving Hurdle to the wing with Bedard and Lucius, and have Eklund centering Drouin and Buchnevich if the lines aren't clicking. Go Sharks. Thank you for all those thoughts, as always, Cheating Heel. Andrew comments, "Nice work, Data." Thank you very much. That's a draft to be proud of. Cornerstone players at 2 positions and 2 more NHL quality starters. Hard to beat that. I would definitely sign Kalinin and Riley. Kalinin may be the best defender on that team the moment he sets foot on the ice, and Riley is good enough to play top 6 in the AHL. I'd even clear out older players to make room for them if at all possible. The sooner they develop, the sooner they can help the Sharks bring home a cup. That's another thought right there. Kalinin is not just an unsigned prospect. He's an unsigned prospect who's already 79 after having just turned 18 about a month ago. So there's a lot of room for him to grow. Over in the Discord server, we continue to discuss whether or not we sign Kalinin. Pat says 100% let Boris spend another year overseas, save that ELC for the NHL club. Incredible draft class. I get keeping the moves to a minimum. It'll be nice to clear up almost 20 million in just Couture and Eklund after this year. I think 1 year away is the opening of the window. Mr. Brian Michalak on the other side of the argument says it would be the realistic view that the North American game is different than that of the European game. A year in the AHL would give Kalinin a year to adjust, and we could also use the argument that Rodin's rookie season had a lot of trouble, and he needed to take a year to get the European to North American style jump. So after having seen that Rodin couldn't really keep up in his rookie season after making the jump and spending a year overseas, because we drafted him, then let him stay overseas for 1 year, then brought him directly to the NHL, and he fell apart. Kalinin, do we do the same thing, or bring him to the AHL for that 1 year between his time between getting drafted and getting into the NHL and try to remedy that situation? Pat still says, I would not sign him yet. You can just say it as though he's taking another year in the KHL. Why potentially waste a year of that ELC when you don't have to, and likely no true benefit? Kalinin would still be an 81 to 83 next season either way, and this way you'll save 4 to 5 million in 3 years. Another good point. It's both sides of the argument make a lot of sense to me. I do have to agree. But with Rodin having done what he did, maybe we're thinking he's going to need it for his development. Maybe let's get a new AHL head coach. He will also give better growth to Kivi Harju, who at the moment, I'm not sure who his pair partner would be on that top pair in the AHL, but Kivi Harju as a 77 with medium league potential would be playing with Hataka, who's a 77 with top 60 potential, two-way D, and the chemistry gives them a +1 with this head coach, but we're going to be changing him up. So Kivi Harju gets a +1, but bringing in Kalinin would definitely be at least a +3 of those X factors. So that's what's really tempting. Yes, we can let him grow overseas, but bringing him to the AHL would allow us to, 1, control his development, and 2, allow him to acclimatize himself to the North American game. So I 100% understand why we wouldn't want to save on the ELC, but I'm also not 100% on when EA burns a year of the ELC. For certain European players who play in the AHL, because they wouldn't be allowed because they're too young, EA doesn't burn that year. I know if they're 17 and they play in the AHL on an ELC, that next year, they'll still have 3 years on their contract. But Kalinin just turned 18. Did he pass the cutoff? I'm not sure. I also kind of want to do this as an experiment for future NHL series so that I know, does a player who just turned 18 have a year of their ELC burned, yes or no? So all that being said, I do not disagree with the argument of keeping Kalinin overseas, but because of X factors and chemistry and Rodin falling apart in his rookie season, I think we're going to go ahead and sign Boris Kalinin. I hope no one's screaming at their screen too loudly. I understand why you may disagree, and honestly, part of me disagrees with myself too, but I think this is the move, and I got to do what I think is best, and I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, this is it. So Kalinin, 3-year entry-level deal. Let's get him at, $25,000 cheaper. And it's been a dream of mine to join this team. I will not let you down. Welcome, Boris, the Latvian locomotive. Eugene Riley is the one I'm not as sure about because his player type grinder top 6 would probably hurt the team a little bit. But at the same time, Tanguay wasn't the first to be a mid to high 70 overall player drafted in the late first round to never really grow. We've seen this in past series. So I really want to try and maximize Riley's growth and not leave it to the European teams to do. I want to get this guy as a full-time bottom sixer within our future. As a grinder, it's hard to find those guys. So I want to get his growth under my control, and hopefully that will benefit him. So it's been a dream of mine to join this team. I will not let you down. Welcome, Eugene. So there are our 2 signings right now to get them into the system. We'll slot them into the AHL later on. For the moment, the scouts have been sent out, and we'll sim to the beginning of the regular season. And the only thing we really have left to do would be to sign a new AHL head coach, perhaps. I want to see what his attributes are like. A- coach influence and B- teaching. Would anyone really be better than that? I know our development in the AHL hasn't been great, but is it because of that coach or is it just because of the game? So AHL head coach. There are some other B-. Okay, that's good. I need good teaching and good coach influence. Get A- and B again. Same guy, same as what the last coach just showed us. A-, B- is what we have at the moment with C offense, B- defense. It will probably be a bit of a lateral move, but let's go for it. Let's go for the A- guy with the B coach influence. And yeah, he's actually more well-rounded aside from the C- power play. So Terry Matthews, here's the musical chairs that we have to play now. Terry Matthews, I'm going to hire you as the NHL goalie coach and give you a big contract because you can't sign as the AHL head coach because you can't exit the screen after that. If I fire the AHL head coach, you'll say, oh, who do you want as your AHL head coach? So here's a big contract to be NHL goalie coach. If you don't know, I answer a lot of questions in the comments about this, but if you don't know about how to play musical chairs with your coaches, here's what you got to do. I'm going to hire that guy as my NHL goalie coach, and this guy, my actual NHL goalie coach, I'm going to demote him for the moment to AHL goalie coach. I know it hurts his morale, but now it leaves the NHL goalie coach spot available for that new AHL head coach to accept the contract as. I start simming to the regular season. Let's see him accept this deal in a couple of days. I'm happy to join the team. Great, Terry Matthews. Thank you very much. I also signed a few guys in the for the AHL. Samuel Bolduc was one of them. Arbor Jacki, very nice. Liam Kirk, Josh Filmon, Patrick Pristola. There was a lot of like random 50 overalls in the bottom 6, so I wanted to get that taken care of. Don't want to do these trades. Now I go back to my coaching staff, and what I got to do is fire this AHL assistant coach who's a D- rated guy, not interested in keeping him. So fire him, demote the AHL head coach to AHL assistant coach, demote the NHL goalie coach who I want as AHL head coach to AHL head coach, promote back my AHL goalie coach to NHL goalie coach, then demote this guy associate to goalie, assistant up to associate, and then goalie back to assistant. So there you go. Musical chairs complete. New AHL head coach with a B- rated associate coach. Not bad to have there. And our NHL coaching staff is filled. Musical chairs complete. And we can sim to the beginning of the preseason. Alright, so arriving at the preseason, basically our only question is, does Larry Tanguay make the NHL? So I'm going to give him a full preseason of 7 games. I'm not going to play him on the top line because that would be unrealistic. I might give him 1 or 2 games in the top 6, second line, but most of his games are going to be third or fourth line to see can he perform with these line mates. So I'll do that. Defense will stay the same, just trying a few different pairings perhaps. And for the goaltending, we'll do 3 starts each, and the 7th game will go to whoever I want to see a bit more from. Aside from that, not really any questions to be answered. In the AHL, I already have a 78 in Tanguay trying to push. I don't think I'm going to have Bystad and Weisblatt trying to play preseason games. Philip Bystad last year in the NHL, he only played in the postseason, eh? Yeah, 6 games, 0 points. Last year in the AHL, 44 points in 72 games, and he's never played in the preseason at all. So you know what? He played in the postseason. Okay, I'll give Bystad some games as well. And I don't think maybe I'll give Lindbergh a start. I'm going to experiment with a bunch of different things. When I have a lot to experiment with, I show you the status after every game. Now here's my lines going into this next game. But it's only 1 or 2 forwards, 0 D, and maybe 1 goalie that I'm experimenting with. So I'll do the entirety of the preseason on my own and then bring you back to show the final stats after 7 games. Alright, so by the end of the preseason, we are 4-1-2. Now, we were 1-1-2, but then I made a change in the lineup, and we won 3 games in a row by the scores of 6-2, 6-3, and 3-2 in overtime. That change was putting William Eklund on the second line and swapping him with Chaz Lucius. That seemed to do great things. I think Eklund had 2 points, 2 assists in 4 games. He now ends with 4 goals and 4 assists. I'm pretty sure he scored 4 goals and 2 assists in the last 3 games since moving to the second line, so that's been great. The bottom 6 now, Cole Lind 2 goals, Cody Glass a goal and assist, not ideal. Philip Bystad played in 4 games and scored 2 goals and 3 assists. He was on the 4th line, and then I bumped him up to the 3rd line. He scored a goal and an assist against Calgary. 5 points in 4 games. On the 4th, Gru had 3 points. Couture had 6 points. Noah Gregor only played in 1 game, didn't do anything special, because I was seeing a lot from Larry Tanguay, and Larry Tanguay in 5 games had 2 assists, splitting between the 3rd and 4th line. Luke Cunnin, 4 games, 0 points. So that's something to keep note of. Goaltending-wise, we'll look into the numbers in a second, but just to say, Linus Ullmark was $897, and Lucas Dostal was $939 with a shutout. So Dostal will start the season as the starter, but Ullmark had some strong performances. I think just 1 game really brought down his numbers. Aside from that, good, strong performances. Jonathan Drouin, 10 points in 7 games. Again, really benefiting once Eklund came to his line, but I think he led the team in points throughout the preseason. Eklund with 8, Hurdle, Couture with 6, Bicep 5 and 4. Bedard, 2 goals, 5 points. All right. Mats Rodin, very good to see him scoring 5 points and a +5. Lucius, 5 assists from the goal scorer. Buchnevich Vorglu, 3 like we saw earlier. Carlson with 3. Pickering, 3 assists. Lynn, a couple goals. And down at the bottom, there we go. Bouchard, no points, +2. And goaltending, to see a better look at the stats. Allmark, 3-0-1, which is great. And Dostal went 1-1-1. But his numbers were much better at a .939 save percentage and 1.96 goals against average. Both of them had about the same amount of shots against, but Allmark allowed 4 more goals. So still good numbers from Allmark, but Dostal will start the season as the starter. Now, with these numbers understood, I would like to start the season with Philip Bystedt in the NHL with a full lineup position. I think fighting to get him out of that spot will be probably maybe Noah Gregor. So I think we're going to send Tanguay down to the AHL, knowing that he can come up if we need. But Bystedt will play in the NHL. Cunnin, who wasn't impressive, will get a little bit more of a chance. Gregor is going to be there as 13th forward at the moment, but I'm not going to keep 82s as, I don't want to keep Cunnin and Gregor as 4th liners / 13th forwards the whole year. I'd rather make a trade sooner rather than later and get Tanguay into the NHL lineup because he did well in this preseason. So I'll make a couple of roster moves, fix up the lines down in the AHL, and then I think we're ready to rock and roll into the regular season. All right, the lines are set in the NHL and the AHL, and we are ready to go. Let's sim to the start of the regular season, then I'll show you what we have. From what I saw in the slow sim, special teams seem to do pretty well, so no reason to really change what we've seen after such a small sample size. Power play was scoring fairly consistently enough, so we'll roll with how I've made the lines. So Philip Bystedt will play on the 3rd line to start the season with Cody Glass and Cole Lind. Bystedt, a former first-round pick in 2022, played last year in the postseason. He'll see his first regular season action after a strong preseason. On the 4th line, we'll have Grue, Couture, and Cunnin. The top 6 will be Lucius, Bedard, Buchnevich, Drouin, Hertl, Eklund. Defense will stay the same as it has been, and goaltending will have Dostal as our starter to start the season. Actually, let me just flip that in a second. Down in the AHL, Philip Lindberg will still be our starter, backed up by Torsten Hornqvist, the high elite goalie. I guess they already played a game and it did not go very well, but Torsten Hornqvist, 2nd round pick with high elite potential, 20 years of age. The rest of the lineup, we have Tanguay and Riley both on the 1st line. Not too much else for the forwards in terms of growth. And on defense, we have Kiviharju with Kalinin. Unfortunately, it is a +1. I thought it would be at least a +3, but Kalinin has -- for his line fit. Still a +1, still going to give him ice time. 1 goal and 4 assists. He has 5 points in 2 games. I'm looking forward to a big preseason year from the Latvian locomotive. So over in the NHL, I'll just go get Dostal as our regular season starter, and we are good to go. Game 1 of Season 5 here in San Jose. There's been a lot of success, a lot of heartbreaks, 3 out of 4 postseason berths. We'll try to make it a 4th out of 5 years, and it all starts here in Seattle at Climate Pledge Arena for the first game of the 2026-27 regular season. Hoping for a lot of big things we mentioned previously, a better 40-plus goal, maybe 50-plus goal year from Bedard, a stronger sophomore year from Rodin, bounce back from Eklund. Let's do it. First period, 1-0 Kraken. It's Pavel Buchnevich opening it up on the power play against Spencer Knight. Shot 16-10 after the first, getting a lot of offense going. Very good. Second period, 2-2 game. Nieto and then Trouba giving Seattle the 2-1 lead, but then Jonathan Drouin comes right back, 23 seconds later, and ties it back up. Shots are 29-16. We're almost doubling Seattle's shots, but we're tied at 2 headed into the 3rd period. Former Shark Nieto scoring that goal for Seattle. Power play Sharks killed off by the Kraken. Shots now 31-19. Power play San Jose again killed off once more by Seattle. Halfway through the 3rd, and Pierre Engvall gives Seattle the lead once more. 3 goals on 20 shots against Lucas Dostal. We're getting a lot of shots on net. Spencer Knight standing tall, but we got to keep pushing, boys. Let's go. Final couple minutes here in the season opener, and we drop it 3-2 shots and 36-24. But we fall 3-2 the final. Spencer Knight making 34 saves. Unfortunate. Anything we want to make note of here? Let's see. 2 points from... looking at Seattle, excuse me. Going through the good old days with the Kraken. Looking here on the Sharks, 2 points from Drouin and Eklund, very nice. -2 from Buchnevich, as well as Lucius, Bedard, Pickering, Kniazev. Yikes. Ice time, yeah, the 4th line didn't look too good. All right, it's just the first game. Let's shake it off. Seattle at home. They want to put on a good game in front of the home fans. Understandable. But now we're headed back home to take on the LA Kings, who are 2-0-0 to start their season. We start the season with a win. They start the season with 2 back-to-back wins. So in the Shark Tank, what do you want to call it? Here we go for our first home game of the season. First period, 1-0 Kings, just slurring over my words. Sean Dursey opens it up for the Kings in the first. Second period remains scoreless in the second. The Kings will maintain their 1-goal lead. Shots are 22-21 for the Sharks. I was considering putting Ullmark in for this one, but Dostal is our starter. I want to give him another game. He's allowed 1 on 21 so far, allowed 3 on 20 the night before. We just got to get something on net here, boys. Let's go. We're getting enough shots, but we have to be lethal in our opportunities, and Tomas Hertl saves me from the circle that I was going around in my words. 5 on 3 power play, and it's another one from Erik Karlsson. 2 power play goals here in the third period to give us the 2-1 lead. Brian Elliott, who's still between the pipes in 2026. Final minute and a half. The Kings are going to push, but Drouin adds the empty netter, and we'll get the 3-1 victory in front of the home fans. Shots end 32-27 in our favor, and we win this 3-1 the final. Dostal makes 26 saves. Tomas Hertl, the game winner. Brian Elliott, 29 saves in the 2026-27 season. Love to see it. Okay, all right. 1-1 to start the season. 4 assists in 2 games from William Eklund. Let's get a little sample size for ourselves, and we'll sim a couple weeks or so just to see what's up. Let's go see the game against the Chicago Blackhawks, perhaps. Haven't committed to one just yet. A little Eastern Conference swing coming up with 6 games in a row in the East. 5 on the road, then 1 back at home against the Blue Jackets. We lose against the Lightning 4-3 in overtime. New York Islanders, Riley fully healed, okay. Islanders, hold on, Gregor 4, a low top 4 prospect, maybe, not yet. 5-0 victory against the New York Islanders, very nice. There's a shout out for Lucas Dostal. Ullmark should see some time between these games against the Hurricanes and the Penguins. 8-4 win against the Hurricanes, huge, but then a 3-1 loss against the Penguins. 5-1 win against the Devils. Last game of the Eastern Conference swing. We're back at home in San Jose to take on the Blue Jackets. And starting off the month of November, everyone wants Noah Gregor out here. A very tantalizing prospect. 4-2 victory. Everyone wants Gregor, my goodness. So the Blackhawks are 4-4-0. We're 5-2-1. Let's keep going a little bit. Let's go see... Maybe the Bruins were 8-0-2. Yeah, let's go see them. And the Hurricanes reminded me that we got to make a Makanyemi trade. 9-0 shutout. There's the offense and the defense. 9-0 shutout victory against the Chicago Blackhawks. Oh my goodness. And then a 7-4 win. There's the offense we've been looking for. 6-3 loss against the Hurricanes to snap our winning streak, and then we lose 6-4 against the Flames. All right, we're 7-4-1 up against the 9-3-2 Boston Bruins. Let's see if we can make it an 8th win on the year, or if the Bruins can get their 10th in Boston at TD Garden. First period, 2-1 Sharks. Chaz Lucians opens it up on the power play. Nicolas Roy ties it up, but then Mats Rodin with 9 seconds left in the period gives us the lead once again. Second period, 4-2 Drouin, and then Evan Bouchard makes it 4-1. Evgeny Dadonov makes it a 2-goal game once more. Shots are 24-17 for San Jose. We're up by 2 headed into the third period. Some goals from the defense here. Rodin, Bouchard, Pavel Zacha makes it a 1-goal game. 4-3 now as he scores just 3.5 minutes into the period. Power play Bruins, and Philip Bystedt scores on our own power play. What's he doing out there on the power play? I'm not sure. I guess maybe we got caught out on a power play because the penalty kill, maybe. Mikey Anderson, though, makes it a 1-goal game once again. 5-4 Sharks with a minute to go, and Kniazev will add the empty netter. 6-4 the final shots, and 33-30. And the Sharks take it. Bystedt with a goal and an assist. Drouin, Lucius also goal and an assist. So what's the stats in this one? A lot of offense. Looking Rodin with a goal and over 21 minutes of ice time. Karlsson playing almost 25 minutes of ice time. Any scoreless players? Yeah, a few. Couture, Cunnin down in the bottom. Hertl, no points. Bedard only an assist as well. Connor Bedard, 1 assist in a 6-goal game. All right, there's a victory. It gives us an 8-4-1 record through 13 games. Let's get to the 15-game mark, and then we'll pause there. So 2 more, Florida, Buffalo, and then we'll pause before the game against Columbus, who are 8-2-1. We beat them 4-2 a couple weeks ago. Everyone wants Noah Gregor. We're in Florida, then we're in Buffalo. A little road trip here. Actually, we have a long road trip. 6-2 win against Florida the next night. Dostal fully healed, very good. And then the Buffalo Sabres, who are 13-0-2. Oh my goodness, a lot of strong Eastern Conference teams. They beat us 3-2. So we're 9-5-1 through 15 games. We're in game 3 of what, like a 6-game swing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. But we're doing quite well. I wonder who's leading the team in points. It's Chaz Lucius with 25 points in 15 games. Look at him go. Lucius Haynes the 7th. There he is. All right, so Lucius 25 in 15, Bushnevich 23, Drouin 10 goals, 22 points, Eklund 21, Hurdle 20, Bedard 16. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players above a point per game. Cody Glass has 12, Carlson 9, Bouchard 8. The defense is pitching in, Rodin, Pickering, wow. Cole Lind, only 6 in 15. I say only, but that's not too shabby for a player with, 12, 14 of ice time per night. Bystedt has 5 points in 15 games. I like that. Benoit Olivier Groux has 4 points, but is a -5. Cunnin, same thing. Lindell, 2 points plus 10. Kniazev has that 1 empty net goal, -2. Yikes. And Logan Couture, 1 assist and a -7. Woo, baby. Yeah, we got to look into that. Goaltending, Dostal's 8-4-0 with 2 shutouts, 901 save percentage, 2.66 goals against. Allmark's 1-1-1, 882 and 3.35 goals against. Not as great. So the top 6 is coming through. Great scoring from them. Once again, it seems as though it's the bottom 6 we have to think about. So on the 4th line, moving forward, at least for the next little sample size, Logan Couture will be a healthy scratch. Noah Gregor will come into the lineup here. Groux will go center as he has the best faceoffs, and Cunnin will stay on the 4th line right wing. Avery is a coach who rolls 3 lines, so that's a good thing. But Couture 1 assist, -7. That's too hard to rationalize keeping him in the lineup at this moment. Goaltending will continue to have Dostal between the pipes as our starter, and I think we're okay to keep on rolling like that. The top 6, the scoring is finally coming through. The defense is pitching in very nicely. Let's slow sim this one. The Blue Jackets are 8-1-1 in their last 10, 10-2-1 on the season. We're 9-5-1, 6-4-0 in our last 10. Continuing the road trip here on the Eastern Conference swing. Let's do it. First period, 2-1 Blue Jackets. Bushnevich opens it up on the power play, but then Kent Johnson on the power play himself and Patrick Laine late against Lucas Dostal, the team that he was playing on when we got him at the trade deadline. Shots 13-6 as well for the Blue Jackets after 20. Second period, 5-2. Yikes. Laine with a hat trick through 25 minutes. That's another power. That's like what, 3-4 power play goals tonight? Goudreau adds 1 more. Erik Karlsson gives us a little bit of life. We're down 5-2, being outshot 24-15. We're down by 3 here in the 3rd period. We're going to need something going quick. Penalty kill, maybe we revisit that for... I wish I could see like actual stats on the penalty kill, though, like which unit is allowing the most. We get outshot 39-20 in this one. Almost double through a whole 60-minute game. 3 goals, 2 assists from Laine. A goal and 4 assists for Goudreau. A goal and 3 assists for Reinhardt. Oh my goodness. And what were the plus minuses in this one? I'm very curious. Who was at the bottom? -2s from Lindell and Bouchard, and then only a bunch of... because a lot of them were power play goals. That's why. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at the penalty kill unit after this one. All right, so I mixed around the units a little bit. Plus, I'm going to bring Connor Bedard onto the penalty kill here. I know he's a sniper, but he has 5-star defense. Not great on the shot blocking and all that, but the stick checking, the awareness, plus extra ice time for him. Let's see if that helps something out. I moved around the units a little bit as well, and Linus Ullmark will start this next game against the Senators. So hopefully that does something for the penalty kill. I'll check out the power play numbers a little bit later on when we actually pause closer to the 30-40 game mark. But let's see it. The Senators are 6-4-0 in their last 10 and 9-5-1 on the year. Very similar record to us at the Canadian Tire Center in the capital of Canada. First period, 1-0 San Jose. It's Connor Bedard on Mads Sogard. Second period, 4-1 Sharks. That's what we like to see. Lucius and Bystedt scoring goals. But of course, we allow a power play goal. I don't like that. Vinny Hinostroza. And B.O. Giroux gives us that 3-goal lead once again. Shots are 21-20, but we're up 4-1 after 40. 3-goal lead here in Ottawa. 5 minutes into the period, still hanging on to it. 5-1, Jonathan Drouin. Merci beaucoup. Grâce à lui, c'est maintenant 4 buts. But I would like to see a penalty kill for us. But we can just hang on for the win. That's cool too. Studnicka scores an even strength goal. Power play Ottawa. Let's see this. Killed off. Okay, that's what I want to see. And we'll call it a game there. 5-2 the final. Shots end 31-29. Ottawa was in it, but Linus Ullmark stood tall. Very good to see that. And Connor Bedard gets a goal and 2 assists as we get back in the win column. Pulled groin for Thomas Hertl, which will keep him out for, let's see, 8 days, so just a week and a day. Yeah, not anything too major. That'll bring Logan Couture back into the lineup, and Glass will bump up. So let me just make a few line changes here. Actually, you know what? I want to see Cole Lind in the top 6. So I'm going to bump him up to the second. Eklund will get second line center, and Couture will draw in as third line right wing. It won't be for too long, but let's see if that experiment works a little bit. Ullmark will continue to start as well, as he looked pretty strong there against Ottawa. And here we go at Capital One Arena against the 6-5-2 Washington Capitals. Let's keep it going here. Nice win to cut that, what, like 3-game losing streak? Let's keep it going. First period here against the Caps, 1-0 Washington. John Carlson, 17 shots in that period for the Capitals. Logan Couture, welcome back to the lineup. He scores his first goal of the season. Then Kevin Hayes on the power play, though. Second period ends 5-2. Oh my goodness, on Marc-Andre Fleury getting peppered out there. Rodin, Kniazev, Bushnevich, and Pickering. 3 out of those 4 goals coming from defensemen, and we're up 5-2, being outshot 30-18, but Fleury fell apart. And then this backup Seelovs also gets one against, allows one on Pickering. We're up by 3, being outshot by 12, headed into this third period. Wow. All right. So we allowed that 1 power play goal, though, which I'm not as happy about. I'd like to see some penalty killing here in the third period. Jonathan Drouin make that 6-2. Still being outshot by quite a bit. Power play San Jose. And I think we'll go ahead and call it there. Game ends 6-2. Shots end 39-27 for the Capitals. But we hang on tight, and another strong game from Ullmark, who makes 37 saves. Ovi 2 assists. Kniazev a goal and an assist. So Ovechkin and Fleury both on the 2026-27 Washington Capitals. Very interesting. Big win there. We're headed into Montreal. Doso will be the starter since it's a back-to-back. Then I think after that, we're going to continue to roll with Ullmark. All right, Doso between the pipes for this game at the Bell Center in Montréal. Les Canadiens sont 6-7-1, 6-7-1. Let's see what we got here. First period, 2-1 Canadians. Rodin opens it up, and then Dickinson and Manson get 2 on Doso. Shots tied at 13. Second period, 3-2. Gavrikov short-handed. Great. And then Jonathan Drouin contre son ancienne équipe. Look at that. 3-2 Canadians, though, after 40, as Drouin gets a little bit of love at the Bell Center, perhaps. Power play Canadians. We kill it off. Very good. We're outshooting them 32-22. 5-on-3 power play for the Sharks. Come on, you gotta capitalize on those. Another power play. And there we go. It's Chaz Lucius tying it at 3 with 5 minutes to go. Shots 36-23. 3 minutes left in this one. Can we hang on tight for overtime? And we will. Shots end 37-23. 3-3 game. Let's check out some OT action at the Bell Center. In Montreal, we have our top units out. It's Bedard versus, I think, Slavkovsky there at the face-off. Caulfield gets it off the draw, though. Cole Caulfield hit. Oh, here's Brett Pesce. Bushnevich picks it off, though. Bushnevich has some space. Can he escape faster than Brett Pesce, though? Bushnevich puts it on net, and Freddie Anderson will make the save. Slavkovsky, here's like a 3-on-1. Oh, great job by, who is that? Is Logan Couture to bat it down, the captain, with a veteran move. He's out there with Lucius. Couture pets in! Couture can't quite get through Cole Caulfield, of all people. Slavkovsky, the first unit from Montreal, is still out there. Slavkovsky going through like a freight train. Caulfield picked off by Couture. Up to Chaz Lucius now. Here he goes. That's in, Chaz! Gives it away. Manson picks it up. Ugly hockey here in this EA world. Let's go change up that forward unit. And a penalty? Come on. Minute left to go in overtime. And it's going to be a charging penalty on Mats Rodin, of course. Any replay on this one? Let's see it. That's charging. Yeah, okay, just bury his head into the ice. But, all right, league leaders, Chaz Lucius. He's second in the league in points? Really? Okay, with another one tonight. It's Chow and Doc against Glass, Kniazev, and is that Pickering? Kniazev. No, Bouchard, excuse me. Evan Bouchard, great face-off win by Cody Glass for this 4-on-3, dumping that in with just a minute to go. Bicep out for the draw. The Sharks are 52 against 33 on face-off wins versus losses. Great win there from Bicep, and we will head to overtime, killing off effectively that penalty to Rodin for the charging, and we will head to the shootout. And after 65 minutes, the shots are 39-30 for the Sharks. The Canes had a big presence in that overtime period. The Sharks didn't do too much, but now we head to a shootout here at the Bell Center. Connor Bedard opening it up now up against Freddie Anderson. Bedard, little backhand, and an easy toe save for Freddie, who didn't have to move too much. Now here's Charlie Chow for the Canadian. Oh, no, it's Dicus. Excuse me. Dicus coming in, and that's stopped by Dostal. Degenerated prospects. I never remember their numbers. Now it will be Chaz Lucius, the team leading, the team leader in scoring. Excuse me. Lucius with another backhand. This time Anderson gets the blocker on it, as both right-handed shooters have gone to the backhand. Now is Charlie Chow for the Canadians. No scorers yet, and that will be a blocker save from Dostal, who didn't have to move too much either. Now here comes Pavel Buchnevich to give the Sharks the lead and force the Canadians to score. Coming in wide, and pad save from Freddie. Yeah? Cole Caulfield now with the opportunity to win it for the Canadians in front of the home fans. Caulfield! Glove save, Dostal. And we head to a fourth round now in this shootout. It will be Jonathan Drouin against his old team in his old barn. Drouin scores! Jonathan Drouin! Poetic! A beautiful move, a nice backhand. Anderson went for the poke there, I think. Couldn't get the glove up high enough, and Drouin with a beautifully placed backhand gives San Jose the lead in the shootout. Now Slavkovsky has to score against Dostal. Coming in with that big body, and Dostal makes the save to give the Sharks the win in the shootout, giving them that extra point. They're going nuts here, these new NHL 23 animations. Oh, there's the soaring eagle, beautiful. Paid, what, $89.99 to get that? Beautiful. Win number 12 on the season. You love to see it in the shootout. Nice little comeback victory there. I believe it was. I'm forgetting already now after that long and arduous overtime I had to endure. 7, 9, and 2 are the Predators. Let's get this game against them. This will be the last game without Hurdle, as he should be back by the time we face the Stars. Didn't mean to slow sim, but we're already here, so may as well. First period, 3-0 Predators. Love it. Second period, 4-2. Carlson on the power play and Buchnevich. John Tavares is here. And third period, 5-2. Dostal, you're killing me, buddy. You are killing me. Classic EA goaltending. You can never find anybody consistent who you can trust. Allmark's going to get a few starts now. I'm going to turn off auto goalie rotate and have Allmark go for a little bit. Then we can make a better decision by the halfway point. By the 29th, Hurdle should be fully healed, and there he is. So I'll edit the lines manually. I think Logan Couture can stay in the lineup. Like, he only played a couple of games, but he scored a big goal. He has 5 points now, as opposed to just 1 assist. His plus-minus increased a little bit as well. So you know what? I'm going to keep Couture out there. Cole Lind got 1 assist in the top 6. Cunnin, 4 points, -4. Gregor, 0 points with an even plus-minus. Yeah, I'll figure something out. All right, so a role like this, Logan Couture actually has lower faceoffs than Glue, so he's been doing well on the wing. Let's just keep him there. Everything else back to normal, and Linus Ullmark will be getting the next few starts. Starting off with this game here against the Dallas Stars, who are 7-11-2, 2-6-2 in their last 10. I'm just going to slow sim it quickly because I want to see, is Ullmark actually the starter, or did it rotate it back? I'm not sure why it would do that. First period 1, yeah, of course, Dostal goes back. I put in Ullmark, but then it rotates it back, even though it's between games. What a joke. Shots are 29-11, almost tripling. Evan Bouchard scoring for us, Obi Kubel for them. Third period, scoreless, 44-17. Overtime, 2-1. Shots in 44-18. And we lose 2-1. Come on. Dostal actually did all right, but come on. I didn't mind if Dostal started because I knew it was a lower-end opponent, but we got to be scoring more goals than that. So let me really put Ullmark in, turn off auto goalie rotate, give him a good, whatever, 10-game sample size, and then do some calendar simulation. No more slow sims here. All right, let's do some December simulation here. Just let's let it ride. Maybe we'll go see the Edmonton Oilers, a team that eliminated us last season. Let's just let it ride. Rodin, strained hamstring as soon as we start. Lovely. Only for like a week, but we still got to make some changes. So Tobias Bjornfot will draw into the lineup for his first appearances as a San Jose Shark, and bumping up to the second pair, Kniazev or Pickering. I guess we'll do Pickering since we want him to grow a little bit more, playing with Carlson, and Bjornfot can play with Kniazev. Lovely. Alrighty. Continuing on, maybe we'll pause against the Canucks, actually, the reigning Stanley Cup champions. Let's do that. This broken calendar. Oh my goodness. Come on, go back to normal. There you go. 3-2 win against the Devils. Thank you. Back to back here. A little California swing against, coming back home to California. playing the Ducks, then the Kings before moving up to Vancouver. The Ducks are 8-11-3. We shut them out 2-0. The Kings are 12-13-0. We play them the next night, and we lose 5-1. The reigning Stanley Cup champion Canucks are 13-10-0. We're 14-8-2. Let's get this little Pacific rivalry going, and then we'll sim all the way down to the Oilers game. First period, 2-0 Sharks. Buchnevich and Bjornfot. All right. Second period, nothing. Third period, 3-3. Lovely. Horvat shorthanded, Podkolzin and Provorov, 3 goals within like 6 minutes of each other. Bedard on the power play ties it back up. Shots 36-30, and in overtime we lose. So we blow a 2-goal lead, and we end up losing 4-3. Okay, overtime loss, lovely. Let's keep on going to the game against the Oilers. Moving a bit east to take on the Flames, and we lose 3-1. Mats Rodin is back, so we'll get him back in the lineup. But Bjornfot did do well, it seems. Well, at least that 1 goal was nice. Down here with Kniazev, a +2 in chemistry. He had 1 goal, but he's a -2. Not enough to make me say that he'll stick in the lineup, but still serviceable enough. Rodin back in with Erik Karlsson. Very nice, continuing that partnership that they have going. We beat the Rangers 3-2 at home. Then we'll have the Canadiens come and visit as well. Cody Glass out with a concussion. Wow, we just can't get anything going here. Logan Couture going up to third line center. Fourth line will be Gregor Gru, and we'll bring Luke Cunnin back into the lineup. Okay, so that'll be about a month or so that he's out. And then a mild concussion to Erik Karlsson. Oh my goodness. Hurdle, Rodin, Glass, Karlsson. What's with all these little injuries? Pickering's going to play with Rodin, and we'll bring Bjornfot back to play with Kniazev. Sheesh, can't catch a break over here. Back to the simulation. So 6-5 shootout win against the Canadiens. Road trip here, Nashville, then Chicago. 4-2 loss, followed by a 4-3 loss. The Panthers are like 4-20. Okay, they're 7-21-3. Can we beat them at home, please? 5-2 loss. What a joke. And the Flyers at home, we lose 5-2 again. Okay, Karlsson's back. Let's stop. Stop. Since our loss against the Kings, we've gone 2-6-1 now in our last 9 games, including a 4-game losing streak. So let's get Dostal back between the pipes a little bit. Maybe Olmark's getting tired. Let's get Karlsson back in the lineup, and let's wake up. All right, so Dostal's back between the pipes. Forward-wise, I'm swapping Bystedt and Cunnin. And for defense, I'm going to be swapping Karlsson and Bouchard. Plus minuses, he's only a +2. Karlsson's a +8. And Rodin's like a +12. Let's try and mix up those pairs a little bit. It doesn't help the chemistry as much, but we got to get something going here. After a 4-game losing streak and 2-6-1 in our last 10, losing against some horrible opponents, let's go now. Taking on the LA Kings, we're a 16-15-2 at home before we have a first-round rematch against the Edmonton Oilers, where we're going to be out for blood. We better be awake for these 2 games. First period now, 2-1 Kings. Couture opens it up. Thank you. The captain's awake. Then Clark and Velarde score on Dostal. Second period, 5-4. 9 goals through 40 minutes. Fiala scores. Eklund responds. Mishkov scores. Of course, we forgot about this rivalry, the Mishkov versus Bedard storyline. Cole Lind then responds. Drouet scores, then Lindholm responds like a minute later. So shots are 23-19 for the Kings. It's 5-4 LA after 40. We're down by 1. Power play Sharks early in the third period, killed off by the Kings. 5 minutes in, no scoring. Power play LA now, and it's Mathieu Joseph who scores just as the power play expires. I'd almost call it not a power play goal, even though it wouldn't count statistically. It doesn't make sense that we're allowing this many goals. The special teams, this entire series, 5 years, and the special teams can never do anything right. And we lose 6-4. Shots end 33-31, but we allow 6 goals on 33 shots. What's wrong with the goaltending? What can we do at this point? They've had all kinds of different goaltenders. What can we really even do? We're going to get this game going against the Oilers. If it's a blowout loss, I'm stopping here. I'm not even going to the halfway point. I'm stopping here right before Christmas. On Christmas Day, no less. On Christmas Day, we are 2-7-1 in our last 10. We were 14-7-2. We're now 16-14-3 against the 16-11-5 Edmonton Oilers. On Christmas Day, do not embarrass your families. Come on now. now. Fans coming out to see them on Christmas morning. A little afternoon game at 1 p.m. First period, 1-1. Nuge opens it up in the power play. Of course he does. Then Tomas Hertl responds. Shots 12-5 for Edmonton. Second period, 3-3 game. Hertl on the power play. Then Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins. Then Esa Lindell scores his first goal of the season to make it a 3-3 game. Shots 20-19. A little Christmas magic from Esa Lindell to score his first of the year. Tie game with 20 minutes to go now. Shots are tied. Power play Edmonton, of course. Leon Draisaitl, power play goal. Power play Sharks, 5-on-3. And Hyman's going to score as our power play expires. This is ridiculous. Hold on, Buchnevich gets us back in it. 5-4. We're down by 1 with 7 minutes to go now. We're out shooting Edmonton. 5 minutes left in this game. And Yamamoto restores the 2-goal lead, and we lose. Hey, at least Cunnin scored with 14 seconds left. And we lose 6-5. 12 goals against the last 2 games. I'm stopping there. I'm stopping it. Stop the count. I'm stopping it there. I'm stopping it there. On Christmas Day, we lose 6-5. Being outscored, what, 17-11 the last 3 games. We're on, what, a 6-game losing streak? Let's stop there. Stop. Next game against the 9-17-6 Seattle Kraken. So we're 7 games away from the halfway point. So almost at halfway. We can double these point totals plus a little bit more. Buchnevich is on pace for something around 80 points. He's leading the team with 39 through 34. Lucius 37, Bedard 35, Drouin 34, so 4 point per game plus players. Eklund 32 and 34. That's all great. Hertl 28, not bad either. This is where it starts to have the division. Carlson 17, okay. Glass 17 and 28, all right. Cole Lynn 16, I was expecting a bit more from him, hoping that he could be that third-line scoring guy that Tyler Toffoli would have been. Rodin 13 and 30 with a plus 11. Bouchard 12, Couture 11 points in 32 games with a -7. Bystedt 10 with a -3. Pickering 9. Kniazev 8, -4. Lindell 8 and plus 6. Gru 7 points, -4. Cunnin 7 points, -6 through 26 games. Grigor 4 points, even plus minus in 19 games. Bjorn Fott 1 goal, -4 in 7 games. Goaltending, Dostal 9, 8, and 2 with 2 shutouts, an .886 save percentage, and 3.24 goals against average. Allmark almost identical. He's 7, 7, and 2 with a shutout, .886 save percentage, and 3.34 goals against average. Like, what can we do? What goalie can I go out and get in the NHL over here? Where's Kakinen? Of course, him and where's Samsonov? I bet they're elite, right? Kakinen doesn't have the greatest numbers. I'll submit. And Samsonov, he has not the greatest numbers either, but all right. Brian Elliott, how old is this guy? These sticky menus. Can I please go see Brian Elliott? He's what, 40? 41 at an 80 overall too. All right, good for him. Minimum, let's say, actually no one's played, minimum 20 games played, sorting by save percentage. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Spencer Knight, great numbers on a bad Seattle team. Maybe they want to move him. Is he on an expiring deal? Yes, he is! Could Spencer Knight be our future? Seattle's a horrible team with a great goalie. Maybe they want to cash in on him right now. Brian Elliott, not going to get him. Mackenzie Blackwood, 3 years left on his deal. Jack Campbell, expiring deal for Jack Campbell. The Edmonton Oilers are not a winning team, but they're not as bad as Seattle are. Thatcher Demko, we've had him in a lot of series already, signed long-term. Jerry Binnington, Jesper Wallstedt, what's up in his contract? Expiring deal for Jesper Wallstedt. And Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, great winning record, even though he has a shorter-term deal. So, Spencer Knight, I could see it. Let's look around the NHL trade block, starting with Seattle. Do they have him on the block? They do not, but they're 9, 17, and 6. It would make sense if they could get a good haul for him. Spencer Knight, not the craziest trade value, but they don't really have any goalies in their system. So here's what I would propose. Maybe they roll with Grubauer as their starter as the rest of this year. We get Spencer Knight away from them. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe you're thinking it's not realistic. It could be. I'm just spitballing here. We give them, let's say, Lucas Dostal still has medium starter potential, whatever. We throw in a good prospect, maybe 71 overall, 19 years of age, Jesus Foy. Maybe we trade him, 2nd round pick. I could see it making sense for Seattle to do a deal similar to that. We'll come back to trade blocks in a moment, though, because we want to check out also the team stats. I want to see how we're looking in the special teams category. Is it just the slow sim, or is it actually a large problem? So we currently sit, let's see where we are in the NHL, 18th in the league in a wild card spot. All right, scoring 3.62 per game, which is one of the highest in the league, I would imagine. Yeah, we're fifth highest in the league for goals for per game, but goals against we're at 3.35 per game, which is fourth highest as well. So there you go. Let's see, power play 17.4%, which is among the better teams in the NHL. It's in the top half. Yeah, top half. I'd give it that. Close to the halfway point, but top half. Penalty kill. Let's see this. At 83.7. Really? 83.7. Around the middle. Probably closer to the bottom than the top, but it's not as horrible as I thought. Not great in the slow sim, though. That's the thing. 83.7. Yeah, we're probably about smack dab in the middle. Maybe even slightly a shade closer to the top than the bottom. Probably like 16th or something like that. Keep those things in mind as we will now explore the trade blocks around the NHL. Do you want to make a forward change, a defense change, a goaltending change? Does someone just really catch your eye for that third line perhaps? Because the top six, I gotta say, I don't think I'd make many changes in there. So let's look at skaters matching the block and sorting by overall. Dante Fabro here in Anaheim, 4 years left on his deal, making 4.97. Arizona, Miles Wood, 2 years left on his deal, is an 81. Rivera, Murphy, and Dahan in Boston. Buffalo, Jeff Skinner, final year of his $9 million deal. Calgary, nobody. Carolina, prospects. Chicago, prospects. Colorado, prospects. Columbus, prospects. Dallas, Larson, Walker, and Wheeler on a 2-year deal, though. Yikes. Yeah, a lot of term on those deals. Detroit, Kopp on an expiring deal. JVR, Martinez, and Mata all on expiring deals. John Klingberg, 3 years left on his. Andrew Kopp, he could play left wing. He has good faceoffs, but he could play left wing. 16 points, -1 through 32 games. Playing second line in Detroit. All right, interesting option. Edmonton, Nuge, Yamamoto, and prospects, both with 3 years left, though. Florida, we see Brown, Domi, Strome, and Luosterainen, those last two on expiring deals. LA Kings, Lindholm, Joseph, Kopitar, Ellis, those last two once again on expiring deals. Plus this guy Salo, and there's also Orlov. Minnesota, Joel Eriksson Ek on the block, but 3 years left on his deal. I know there was a comment on the Discord server from Doggy talking about going after Joel Eriksson Ek, but I'm not sure where he'd fit in the center depth. Plus, it's not an expiring deal. We'd have to think about a long-term fit. Yeah, we already have Bedard, Hurdle, and Glass. Even if you move Hurdle to the wing, Eklund's also a center winger. I don't know. I don't know if the positioning works out. But Joel Eriksson Ek on the block in Minnesota. Montreal, prospects. Nashville, prospects. New Jersey, prospects. New York Islanders, Pollock, Pelech, Smith, and Durgachintsev all on the block with multi-year deals. Rangers, prospects. Ottawa Senators, prospects. Flyers, Braden Shen, 2 years left on his deal. Penguins, Raquel, Kane, Toffoli, interesting. Sherry, Granlund, Rust, and Voracek all on the block. Tyler Toffoli currently with 18 points in 32 games. All right. Seattle Kraken, and also 87 overall, Rickard Raquel. Ooh, only 4 goals, but 22 assists as well for the playmaker. Okay. Seattle Kraken, we saw McCann, Comfer, Manjapane, Bjorkstrand, Burakovsky. They are just selling. Some guys with single-year deals, like a Jared McCann, an 87 overall, but only 9 goals, 17 assists. I say only, but like 87 overall. That's a lot of trade value as well. I don't know. I could see Spencer Knight making sense. Seattle, Falk on an expiring deal. A lot of trade value, though. 19 points in 31 games from him. D'Angelo, Parayko, Shillington, Montour, Sveshnikov all on the block. Tampa Bay, nobody. Toronto, nobody. Well, that guy Ronaldo. Prospects in Vancouver, Vegas prospects, Washington, Gardner, Gustafson, Soucy, and Winnipeg, Persinger, this medium league grinder. 12 points in 29 games in Manitoba. And that is it for the blocks. All right. Thinking about goalies in the NHL who are on the block, just skimming through, I'll highlight any. Drieger on the block in Arizona, 82 overall, who's playing down in the AHL. Good numbers in the AHL. 2 years left on his deal, a very cheap one. The Sabres have their elite starter, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. They also have Dawes at an 81 in the AHL, Gustafson 81 in the NHL, and Hill on the block 80 in the AHL. Plus a bunch of other starting goalie potentials. We could take one of them off their hands, but none of these guys would be starter caliber for us. Nico Dawes, good numbers in the AHL. Philip Gustafson, not great numbers in the NHL. And he'll not score amazing numbers in the AHL. Over in Ottawa, Stuart Skinner is still with the franchise. Sogard and Georgiev are both 84 overalls playing in the NHL. Sogard with an expiring deal. Same for Stuart Skinner. He's an 83 playing in the AHL with crazy numbers. Wow, really crazy numbers from Stuart Skinner. Could we give him an escape from Ottawa? He's been in the AHL for a couple seasons now. Hasn't seen the NHL since 2023-24 with Nashville. Man, the poor guy, he's begging for NHL action. He had a great season. He's having a great season so far. Not great the last couple years. Is this an anomaly? I'm not sure. But Stuart Skinner, not on the block, but I'm sure Ottawa would be happy to trade him. Spencer Knight, we mentioned, a very good goalie on a not very good team. And that's about it. There are a bunch of goalies like Jake Allen, 79, Robin Leonard at an 80. There's a lot of 80, 81 guys in the AHL, but I didn't really think about anyone like 82 or... I was thinking 82 or more at the very least, and there weren't too many of them out there. Last thing to think about headed into the halfway point or so will be contract extensions. Evan Bouchard at the moment as an expiring RFA would want 1 year at 4.9. Anything more, we're moving into the 5.5 territory. Erik Karlsson, if we were to bring him back, which I'm not sure about, ooh, yeah, it's not going to happen at $5 million, so it's likely his last season. Kniazev, Pickering, we can think about those later on. And for goaltenders, Dostal and Ullmark, keep that in mind as well. If we trade one of them, we'd be doing ourselves a favor trading away an expiring contract. Dostal 5x5, not going to happen. And Linus Ullmark, I could see Linus Ullmark coming back 2x2 again. Yeah, that could definitely work. McIntyre, whatever we do, I wanted to keep him because he'll be good trade value to add to whatever trade we're making. But worst case scenario, we'd just dump him for a pick next episode. And that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Headed into the around halfway point through 34 games. We are in a wild card spot, 16, 15, and 3. 2-7-1 in our last 10 on like a 6-7 game losing streak. One of the highest scoring teams in the NHL, but we are still not able to batten down the hatches defensively. And I wouldn't say our defense is half bad. I think it's the goaltending. I don't know what to say. It's really just an enigma out here. In the AHL, by the way, how are we looking? We are 21-6-1. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just get a quick update on this. Larry Tongue, 26 points in 28 games from him so far. They're not at the halfway point yet. But let's see, Weisblatt, Tomala, Kalinin, 20 points in 28 games for Boris, still at a 79. Riley has 19 points. And goaltending is Hornqvist playing it all 3-4-0. Rough numbers. But Lindbergh, what a record from Philip Lindbergh. I'd love to get him in the NHL maybe. I don't know. He's been a long-time Shark. He's been biding his time. Let's call up Philip Lindbergh. I don't know what to say. So you do know what to say, and I'm looking forward to reading your thoughts down here on YouTube or over on the Discord server. Be sure to join us there. Leave a like if you enjoyed this first half of the season. You're looking forward to the next one. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already to be made aware of all of our franchise mode uploads, as well as career simulations, breaking news and analysis in the real world of hockey, and much, much more. Looking forward to live trade deadline coverage about 5 weeks away or so from now. So we're gearing up for that, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch. What are we going to do with this team headed into the second half of this 5th season? I'll be excited to read your potential solutions to this problem, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you again in the next one.